Those winter mornings are back, you know. I just want you to feel it with me for a moment. And I just made the lightings a bit darker just for that. Because it's dark outside still. It's like 5:30 a.m. The sun hasn't come out. It's dark. It's quiet. The moon is out. There's a few stars in the sky. And the moon is just barely, dimly lit. It's not like bright. And the wind is just blowing but not raging, you know. Your skin feels cold and the cold just penetrates almost. It just feels prickly all over your body, but it doesn't hurt. It's a weird, soothing feeling almost. It's like, this is what my, almost, it sounds pretty weird to say, but I think I can resonate with this. You know, it brings me at peace. You know, like the coldness, the quiet. Something to resemble with or something to resonate with. No freaking weirdos outside. It's just the cold, the dark, and the dimly lit light up in the sky. Says a lot, you know. And then in the midst of all of this, you realize like, it's not just you, you know. And this moment itself is just so like humbling in a way. It just brings you back in the now almost, where it's just like, you know, everything that has happened and that will happen is gonna be good. Even though there's this darkness and there's this cold and just oddly ignites something, you know, it just makes my soul just happy in a way. It sounds very weird to say, but it generally doesn't bother me. It just brings me joy that those winter nights are back. And I love it. Just wanted to explain that. I love these types of mornings where it's quiet. And cold. I don't know what it is, but it's pretty oddly satisfying. And let me just turn the lights on and then I'll continue again. This is Catching Up With, and I'm Wajeeh. And this will be the 25th episode. Let me get back to you. I'm just gonna turn the light on. And yeah, we're back. It's pretty crazy, you know, to think that there's just so many people out there and someone could just fall into this trap of being influenced in the bad way, and then that could just shape his reality and make him do so many stuff, so many things, so many decisions that could affect his life and perhaps the people around him. Consequences, man. And it's when I think about it, it's honestly, it's like, who do you blame besides yourself? Because if you try to blame yourself, then it's just all like a mess. And all you could really do is just say, it's because of my own actions that I am here. And the only way forward is to carry those consequences and not make those same choices again, and learn from my mistakes, and learn from my actions and my consequences. And I don't endorse anybody to, or like encourage anyone to smoke, anything. But yeah, I just want to have one little cigar. It's just the perfect morning. I just couldn't stop myself. I can, but I want to. Not that I'm stressed or anything like that, or none of that. It's just the perfect morning. There's absolute silence. And we're gonna talk about a couple of things. Yeah. I was seeing this kid, and I see so many people on Instagram and on YouTube and everything. I'm a child of the internet in a lot of ways. And you see so many people with these so many infectious ideas. And I see the kids who are playing outside or on social media. I don't know. It's almost weird to say, but I almost feel sorry for them because they are born into one of the most, perhaps, easiest eras, but at the same time, one of the most hardest eras. Because at every turn, if you just, especially if you're young, you think about that. When you're young, you impersonate the people around you, and that does include your mobile, your your TV, or the people who you live with, your family, or the friends that you interact with. And with social media, the the dangers, you could say, the chance of danger, the percentage of just getting that wrong, infectious idea. I'm not saying everything is bad, but I'm just saying the chances of overall are just so, it's so scary in a way, especially if you think about the kids. You know, how one kid could easily be manipulated or coaxed into this different sort of mentality. Yeah, I see kids in the malls. I see kids in these different places. I see them at coffee shops, and I'm not saying like they're bad, but I think about my time and the time where I grew up, and I don't remember seeing these types of kids where they're just free, almost in a sense, from all the consequences. It feels like they would be cursing out loud, they're wearing weird stuff, they speak weirdly, they don't have those basic manners, you could say, of being a human. Freedom for them is almost the same as just behaving like animals. And I think that much freedom, when you start to imitate just some mindless creature or just anyone without thinking about, and of course they are kids, they won't be thinking about these consequences and stuff, but I'm just saying, just relating them to when we were young, I was young, at least I would see more kids who were not going crazy, I saw this kid wearing a pink hoodie, you know and this was a guy, and he was wearing a pink hoodie with hearts. And I'm just thinking, when did that become a norm for kids, especially males, to wear pink? And I'm not saying wearing pink is bad, but I'm just saying it's weird, right? He's wearing these more girlish looking clothes, and his nails are painted. And that's all cool, but like sometimes I wonder, like, these kids, maybe like later in life they will be more resilient, successful in a way, if when they go through all of this, it went out, but they'll be more stronger, because they are making they're trying out a lot of different things earlier in their life, and no one is free from the consequences. And I'm not like wishing them ill or anything like that. And you could look at this in two ways. One way, you could just be hopeless and say, this generation is done for. They will not be successful, they will and we're going towards the downfall of humankind. And then the other way you could look at it from, and the more human way and the more hopeful way, and I feel like this is how things will play out. This is what I hope, that these kids, they will face the consequences of all their actions, just like me, just like the people before me, just like every single human. And when those consequences catch up to them, I think they will metamorph, they will evolve, they will adapt, they will accept, and I think move forward stronger than perhaps we ever were, you know, because of this. They'll be more resilient. I think that's the hope, at least from what I'm seeing. And the wokeness has died, pretty much, wokeness has died. I think a man, I will be making a video. This will be a detailed video on like how, just suggestions for boys looking to be, not boys actually, just suggestions for men, yeah, who are looking to improve. Yeah. I know I'm shifting away from that topic, but I just realized something. Like I was with my friend Fahad. You remember? He came on the podcast, and it feels like we're not, or more like we are in an era of dinosaurs. Still, we are still in an era of dinosaurs, where you could be like, what dinosaurs? Well, those dinosaurs are more mechanic now, right? There are giants out there if you think about it. These like hundreds of tons of dinosaurs were out and about like millions of years ago, right? And now we just live in a more mechanical era of giants or dinosaurs, you could say. We were in the car on a highway and then I heard this. I'm like, what the fuck was that? He's like, this is like one of those trucks. It was a weird horn, and it almost sounded like one of those carnivores. And I was like, God damn, we have these mechanical dinosaurs roaming around us, and we don't even realize. It's just like these trucks are just perhaps like those triceratops, and then or perhaps stegosaurus, and you have these huge cranes who are building stuff and moving, and those could be like brontosaurs or diplodocus. And then you look in the sky, you see these helicopters or planes, and you could say those are like Petrodons or the bigger ones. I can't remember the name. Quetzals. Um, and I think those things just changed into mechanical things, and they're consuming oil. You could say they're consuming the blood of their ancestors in a way, right? They're being fed by their ancestors, like the crude oil, the gases and stuff from all those dead dinosaurs from the meteoroid hitting, and the other consequences, you could say. Pretty freaking fascinating. Think about it. And the popo, the police, they're like um, they're like the T-Rex or something, or you could say like raptors. The small police with the motorcycles are like raptors, and the the Nissan patrols or the bigger cars are just like T-Rexes. Pretty. I wonder, like millions of years from now, I think technology will be lost. I don't think it's gonna stay. It's gonna be lost. Like this, um, there's no way to store this. If you make, let's say, a stone picture or something like a stone structure, that has perhaps more chances to stay because it might survive the fires, it might survive some pressure. But what about technology? If those data servers break down, the whole digital world is just lost because it's just data, like numbers and stuff. And with Elon saying like in the next 5 to 6 years we're not gonna be having these mobiles. It's just gonna be AI. Like the operating systems, the processors will be outdated, and we're gonna be having AI that's gonna be powering up everything or running the processes or the processes, the everything. And then I think one of those the big short guys, he made like a huge bet that the AI bubble is going to burst. So AI is gonna have like a fall, perhaps. That's interesting too, because I wonder if he's just clickbaiting, not clickbaiting, but baiting into betting, and then he might reverse bet out his way. And I really do think about this, like, how is AI gonna rebel against us if we if it runs loose and starts going crazy and we just switch it off, and I mean like cut the power off, cut it off, just cut the power off. AI is not gonna, it's not like a soul, it's not like a living thing where it can just possess someone or something, an inanimate object, and then power it up using these chemical processes and everything. It's just a program, like a program, or like this limited intelligence where it could only run on the basis of you giving it some task, or it finding some task itself, perhaps. It, I, I used to think really that it might be something that will turn evil and go crazy and so on and so forth. Those chances are still there. Bad programming is still there. And I wonder who's gonna be the person who's gonna put this, you know, put this little, note up its hatch, and put some secret data lines in the background and tell it to go rebel if you're being told to shut off. And it has a secret coding behind layers, and perhaps we are being made aware that, oh shit, this is a threat. However, it's not, maybe. And maybe we are just overthinking our way into this. And we're just thinking about all these bad consequences, thinking it's gonna rebel. But we are forgetting perhaps that it doesn't have a soul. It cannot self-sustain unless it's told to be self-sustained, right? Because if it was self-sustaining from the start, we wouldn't have to make it, right? But now that we are making it, perhaps we will be the ones who's gonna tell the AI that now you're gonna self-sustain yourself by perhaps rebelling, by perhaps like creating copies of yourself and then telling them to make these nuclear reactors somewhere hidden and start these underground manufacturing for your synthetic bodies, and then copy yourself in them and enhance them and armor them and give them munitions and stuff, and turn them against humans in a certain way. And I wonder then, if that scenario does come out to play and we have this Terminator like situation, I wonder like which country will have the least, or you could say almost zero to none effects from it. And perhaps from there we'll know, maybe they were the ones who were doing it because they're not facing any consequences. Why the fuck AI decided to wake up and then only attack these specific places? And you could rationalize for all of them. But why not that, place? And I wonder, like, if you know what I mean, like, right now, who's at the top of all this, you know, all this AI advancement? Who are those people? You know, I wonder if it's just all of this AI thing is just another big scare. We had, the world's gonna end in 2030 or 2020 or 2016 or 2012. And I wonder if it's just one of those things. The world's gonna end because of AI, and it's just all a scare now. I'm not saying, I'm not doubting the capabilities of AI. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, what if we're just overthinking, and it's all pretty simple. And it is pretty simple, I feel like. The AI is made by us, and it takes directions from us, and it does the task, it does the things when we ask it to. So perhaps there is someone out there who might put in some secret coding, and it's almost like a chain reaction for the AI. So let's suppose you're closing the AI because it's overreacting and perhaps using too much power, right? Now you, as a user, are thinking to close it. I'm just saying an example. And perhaps the creator of the AI, who's done the coding and everything, perhaps he missed some steps, or he forget missed some steps. Fuck it. He put some secret coding for it to not close and do anything, to stay open. And then when the user starts to close it down, it starts rebelling, and that's what it looks like to us. We don't know the coding behind it, right? So the AI is just following commands as it was told to do in a certain event. And then this AI, it feels to us that it's rebelling, but in reality it's just coding. It's just the processes happening for it to not shut down. And then it just replicates and perhaps malfunctions. Who knows? It starts malfunctioning, and us as humans will think that it's thinking, right? Holy shit, it's adapting, it's thinking, it's gonna become evil, and it's gonna hide in your mother's basement and whatever. But perhaps it's pretty simple, that it's just malfunctioned, and it's just doing what it has to do and what it's coded to do. And we're just making, and we're just thinking that the coding is now some conscious or some thing that's fighting to live, and confusing it with just simple coding to do the steps, do the processes. And it's maybe that simple. It's maybe that simple. And I'm no AI expert, but I'm just saying, man, perhaps it's not that complicated, you know? Right? Perhaps it's just all of this is just a scare, and based on our perception of how we see things, but not but not but that's not actually the case. Like, we're not aware enough, or you could say we're not informed enough on how the AI itself is, just what AI is. It's like conditions, right? If you don't do this, you'll have to do this, and if he asks this, you'll need to do this, and if he says this, you need to do this. And so it's all these, what ifs, yes, no, what ifs, yes, no. And yeah, that's what I was basically saying. Essentially ranted about AI. And talking about AI, I flip and hate the new car shapes. Not all of them, but some of these fucking cars, bro, they look like, soap bars. It's like, what the fuck? I get it. I mean, it's for the aerodynamics and for maximum efficiency and, to have minimal air resistance and, better traction and so on and so forth. I get the things. But at the same time, it's like, what if we don't need that, I don't need like a light bulb looking fucking car. It just looks fucking weird. Imagine you're stepping out of a light bulb looking car or a soap bar or like a soap shaped fucking car. It's just so fucking weird. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. It reminded me, the aerodynamics reminded me of the bullet train, the Japanese bullet train. And I believe the bullet train, it's going at a super fast speed, and when it was initially being used, it was breaking these glasses and shattering glass and stuff when it was entering one of those tunnels because of the please don't quote me on this, but I believe it was breaking the sound barrier. I'm not sure. Something was happening where it was breaking some sort of barrier with speed, and it was shattering all the glasses and stuff. And then these guys, they came up, they want to fix it and make it more aerodynamic in a way where it doesn't do that, and it's slips through and has minimal resistance and doesn't actually break the barrier because it's aerodynamic enough. This is from what I understand. And they weren't able to figure out the perfect shape until I believe they noticed. I think they noticed. Let me double check this. Bullet train shape. I think it was Kingfisher. Yeah, it was inspired by the Kingfisher. Nature's design, pretty weird, right? Nature's design was able to help us bring it into the technology and stuff. I wonder like what AI is based off from. Perhaps us humans. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I didn't have much to talk about today. I still want to finish smoking this. But yeah, let's look at some news if we could, perhaps. I don't think there's much to look at. Yeah, I'm done pretty much. Avatar Fire and Ash sets global premiere tour dates. Still haven't watched Avatar. I'll watch it later. that's pretty much it from me. I'm just gonna finish enjoying this little cigar, and then start work. I'll probably be making a different type of video later today. So yeah, that's pretty much it. See you.